Hey y'all, it's Joe or Stipper here. First things first, like we always do, let's get us a little dip in. Give it a pack. I know I don't, with this month I don't pack it, but I like to. Do when the camera's on. So we get ourselves a dip. Well, today I want to tell a story. Trying to figure out what story I want to tell. So, here's what we're dipping on. Like I always be dipping on Grizzly Wintergreen Long Cut. And I just don't know what to talk about again today unless something comes up. And, I'll tell a story about time when I said this on my other channel, my Joe Worsh show and gaming channel. You can go check that one out if you want. But this is when I was 4 years old. Oh, swallow a little bit. Ugh, hate when that happens when you swallow dip. Ooh, burns your mouth and your stomach. I usually don't puke when I swallow a little bit of it. Yeah, one time when I was 4 years old, before we moved out to my dad's, we had some neighbors who were um, didn't like us too much. They were always calling the cops on us about shit. And one time I was playing outside and I was 4 years old. For some reason, I just picked up a shoe and just throwing it around the yard. Four kids like to throw shit, so I guess I'm gonna put this right here between my legs so I don't have to keep reaching over that way. So yeah, like I was saying, I was playing out in the yard with the shoe and throwing it around. I guess the neighbor kid was too close to me, and I threw it, and it hit him. And then I guess he made a big ordeal about it. Went home and told his parents, and the parents called the cops, and the cops came by to see what was going on, and I guess the cops didn't know how old I was when they first got the call. I guess they didn't know I was 4 years old. So when they got to the house, my mom knocked on the door. My mom answered, and the cop was talking to her, and she said, the cop was telling him, I guess your son threw a shoe at the neighbor kid, and my big brother, my big sister was, older sister was, I only got one sister, so I don't have to, yeah, my sister were gone. I think they were at school or something because I was 4 and I wasn't in school yet. So my mom told the cop that, yeah, my son is 4 years old, and he was outside playing in the yard. He must have been picked up a shoe and started throwing it around, and I don't know where my mom must have been inside, and I was playing outside, like I said, throwing the shoe around, and the cop found out I was 4 years old, and he said, my mom told me the story before, yeah, my mom was sick with cancer. I'll tell you all about that another time, but before she died from cancer, this is when I was 4 years old, and the cop found out how old I was, and I guess he said, you know what, don't worry about it. And told my mom have a good day, and he left. And apparently he wasn't too happy about it because my mom could see in his face to be like, oh my gosh. They call me over a little kid playing outside with the shoes, and that means he didn't know any better, so they let it go because they know a little kid was just probably playing around and didn't purposely throw the shoe at him. They were playing. They're a kid. They like to pick up shit and throw it. And they always making big deals about crap that happened with us, with us kids, and I guess one day my dad, something happened for us to move to where he is now, so I'll tell the story about that another time. Maybe that'll be tomorrow's story, tell you the story that my dad got tired of living there with those neighbors complaining about every little thing and call the cops about every little thing. I don't. Maybe they just were that type of family. It's just. I don't know. They like to cause trouble, I guess. Maybe something happened with their old neighbors they used to have, and now anytime they move next door to someone, they're going to have problems with neighbors, not going to give you a chance to be friends. They're going to be enemies with every neighbor they have, I guess, and call the cops on them when something a little happens. And yeah, there's my story about the time I got the cops called on me when I was 4 years old, and it's ridiculous that people will call cops on a fucking kid. And I guess that's just the way people are. They just like to call the cops over shit that don't need to be called about and waste the cops' time because you're too lazy to deal with it yourself. I mean, how hard is it for that kid's parent to come over, knock on the door, and find out what happened instead of calling the cops to come over and find out what the story was? And they could have been responsible adults to come over and figure out why a shoe got thrown and it hit the kid. I mean, it's not that hard to go and talk to the kid's parents about what happened with your damn kid. So, should talk to your neighbors if something happens, and talk to the parents if something happens between your kids, and solve it that way. Just talking and say sorry. My kid was playing outside. I didn't know he was playing with the shoe and picking it up and throwing it around. It must, it's not that hard to go talk to people instead of wasting the cops' times time over stupid shit like that. So yeah, there's certain things that people shouldn't really have to call the cops on you about, and that can be solved without them. I understand if something bad happened, like if I hit the kid on purpose, and then there'd be a different story, or got in a fight with the kid, or threatened the kid, or try to kill the damn person, and then you should call the cops. Not over something it was on an accident, playing with the shoe in the yard and throwing it around and accidentally hit your kid in the head or face, wherever it hit him. And yeah, so yeah, that's what kind of neighbors we had before we moved out to Sage, where my dad was now. But I don't live there anymore. I moved to town because I had a job at one time, and I moved um, down to Temecula and got a job in town. So I lived with my sister. I'll tell you the story about when I lived with my sister and moved into her house because I wanted to be around more to do in town, and had a couple of jobs while living here, and got the old Sears job back. So yeah, and moved to Tennessee and for a while, and those are some stories I will be telling you guys coming up here in the nearest future. And that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I upload, and I'll see you all tomorrow with another story. Bye.